Welcome to this Rethé session. This is the third of 4 sessions focused on guidelines on how to write the usual sections of the scientific paper. In this session, we will cover the results section. I'm Elaine Okanyene Nsoesie, a native of Cameroon and a professor at the Boston University School of Public Health. I will share guidelines on how to write the results section of the paper. Let's get started. Here are 3 things to remember when writing the results section. 1. State your findings clearly and succinctly. 2. Include only results in this section, unless a journal has different requirements. Some journals combine the results and discussion. Others have the results and discussion before the methods, which means you have to mention some of the methods and analysis in the results to help the reader understand how you arrived at the results. 3. Choose what you present. Because you conducted an experiment 100 times does not mean you have to present 100 numbers. Similar to the other sections, consult the journal guidelines. Usually, journals will provide specific information on how to include measurements, how to create tables, figures, and other information included in the results. Mention all the beautiful information that you have put in tables and figures, but do not repeat all the information. If you have a table with 12 rows and 4 columns, it would be ridiculous to repeat all the information captured in the table in the results section. Only highlight the most important details. Readers can refer to the tables for additional information. If you've written a detailed method section, your results will be short and sweet. Remember, your method description should be in the method section, not in the results. Use statistics to create summaries. If you did 100 experiments, calculate the mean, median, or other measure that can best summarize the information for the reader. It is important to remember that your paper stands or falls based on the results. The results section is where you provide new information. Let's review the results section of another one of my papers. This paper is focused on forecasting influenza-like illness trends in Cameroon using Google search data. The results section starts by describing the data. We focus on regional patterns of influenza-like illnesses. The weekly number of reported ILI cases and attack rate per 100,000 people from 2012 to 2018, collected by the Cameroon Sentinel surveillance system, were obtained from the Ministry of Health. The number of reported ILI cases varied across the 10 regions in Cameroon. The neighboring East and Adamawa regions had the highest number of reported cases, 17.1 and 16.4 reports per 100,000 people respectively. The major economic regions, littoral and center regions, which had the most consistent reporting, had different attack rates, 8.3 and 12.6 respectively. There were no distinct regional groupings in reporting patterns. The next paragraph has our first subheading, out-of-sample predictions. This is an example where the methods are presented after the results section, so we had to describe some of the methods in the results to help the reader understand how we obtained our findings. Out-of-sample predictions are predictions made by a model on data not used for model fitting. It is a cross-validation approach whereby at each modeling step, data excluded from model fitting are used in the model validation, comparing out-of-sample model predictions to data. At the national level, search terms that had correlations with 0.3 or greater with ILI were used as explanatory variables in the models. These included catarrh, pain, sweat, ginger, honey, tea, malaria, TB, AIDS, and HIV. SVM had the lowest mean RMSE and the highest mean R-squared of 1.078 and 0.877 respectively. In the next example, we studied COVID-19 misinformation spread in 8 countries. Our first subheading focuses on the stat and peak of misinformation searches. Searches for coronavirus and 5G started at different times but peaked in the same week for 6 of the countries. For example, searches for 5G in Australia, the United Kingdom, and Canada were first reported during the week of January 19, 2020, while searches in South Africa, India, and the United States started the following week. In contrast, searches were recorded from Kenya and Nigeria a month later, during the weeks of February 16 and 23rd, respectively. Despite the different start dates, India, Australia, Canada, Kenya, Nigeria, and the United States observed the first search peak during the week of April 5th, 2020. The United Kingdom and South Africa observed a peak during the same week, March 29th of 2020. Notice how we refer to figure 1 without describing everything that occurs in the figure. Also notice how we use transitional words to connect the sentences in this paragraph. We discussed the use of transitional words in section 4. This is figure 1 that we referred to in the previous slide. It is not the best figure in the world, but captures the main point we're trying to make, that searches peaked about the same time for multiple countries. I want to talk a bit about tables and figures. Tables and figures can capture lots of information that are important for your paper but does not need to be written. Some things to consider when creating tables and figures. Tables and figures must have a caption that describes the contents. Reference each table and figure in the text. One way of summarizing the information in tables and figures is to highlight patterns or lack of patterns in data. Some simple rules for figures. Use line graphs when the variable is continuous. Use bar graphs when the variable is categorical. Use error bars to show variations or uncertainty. Use maps to present spatial data. You can learn more about visualizations online. There are many websites that provide information on how to create beautiful visualizations. Let's do some exercises. Right. Which visualization is more informative? The one on the left or the one on the right? The one on the left is more informative because the labels tell us more about the data that has been visualized. Which plot type is more appropriate? The bar graph or the line graph? The bar graph is more appropriate for this data because it is categorical. Thank you for participating in this session. To learn more about Rethé, please visit our website.